Good evening, India, and welcome to Gonna Shot and P Gurus. Today, we're going to take a leap into India's thorium energy quest. And joining me in this is Mr. Sree Iyer, as usual. Welcome, Sree Iyer ji.
Namaskaram, sir, and hello to all of you. Happy New Year's Day in many parts of the country today.
Yeah, Putandu and Visu. Yeah.
𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗥𝗚. Yeah.
𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗥𝗚. Yeah, it's a very this thing, and that no wonder we're discussing thorium.
Yes.
Right. And, okay. Look, let me give you a background, and then, Mr. Sree Iyer, I'll hand over because he's got an update, and then I'll get you back. Today, what we're going to talk is not the normal stuff. Let me put it across to everyone. I'm going to explain to you what this thorium business is. You have to understand. Some people think thorium is, the mana for all our energy thing. It will not happen. Some people think, thorium, India can't do anything. That's also not true. The truth, as usual, is somewhere in between. But more interestingly and very interestingly, we need to understand this because this is our future. And very importantly, this is, I always believe that technology which you make is the cheapest. Technology which you buy is the costliest. Yeah. So far, we've been buying it. Henceforth, with this, you'll make it on your own energy. It comes out of your own land, Mother Earth, and we'll talk of it. Over to you, Sree Iyer ji, your update.
Thank you so much. Sorry to take a small detour, viewers. I just wanted to update you with what is happening in the Hormuz Strait. Sir, if you could load that one picture that I have.
Yeah, I am.
So we've been following the same format from the morning show where we were showing you about what exactly is going on there, what is really playing out right now. Over 31 ships exited in the last 12 hours, or in or out, went in or out. And the one big difference is there is a Chinese tanker which has decided to dare the blockade. And I believe it has been allowed to go through. So China, one sanctioned tanker has been allowed, but Malaysian ships and UAE/Iraq ships have been allowed. Malaysian ships have some special diplomatic deals made directly with Iran, and they are using that, said, okay, fine, you guys can go through. So Malaysian ships have gone through, Iraqi ships have gone through, and UAE ships have gone through. And not only that, there's close to 4,000 ships now waiting at Fujairah, and they need to get in. My guess is that this trickle, which was considerable, by the way, it's 25% traffic now. This might turn into a flood very, very soon. Let's wait and see. This is the latest update I have. Sir, over to you.
Oh, thanks a lot. Let me throw in. I believe the Chinese ship actually loaded somewhere else. That's what I heard. And didn't load up in Iran. That's one. Number two, look, you see, when a flood comes, there will be some order put in place. Today is only the first day. So one odd ship might get through, and by the time this blockade comes, they will be, I'm sure, on both sides. This is like a one-way street where people will have to take a thing, go through, hand it over and you exit. I'm sure they will come to something. We'll see. And anyone who doesn't have that token, they'll have a token system. This is like, when you go to Tirupati, don't you have a token system? This will be the same thing. And I am very sure that something will come out, but we'll talk of it tomorrow. Anything else you want to say on this, or should we get back to
thorium? No, just wanted to show you the markers, viewers. The red and yellow line is where the blockade is happening, and it is concentrated on 3 ports of Iran: Bandar Abbas, Bushehr, and Chabahar. And these are the 3. You are seeing 2 circles with a cross across them. Those 2 are Bandar Abbas and Bushehr. Chabahar is a little bit further down south.
No, this is Bushehr, this is Bandar Abbas, and this is Chabahar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that's all I have, sir. We can get back to our main topic now.
Yeah. Fine. Let's get to thorium. So we're going to talk of thorium, and for many of you who think we're going to talk of international politics, no, I'm going to go take you through thorium, the various aspects of thorium, right? And if you want to actually understand thorium, you have to you also understand uranium. So I'm going to take you there also. I'll take you about our energy sector and everything, and what are the problems. But I would like everyone to see this picture carefully. That's this thumbnail. This thumbnail is from Kerala beach, where these youngsters are loafing around with their flags and jumping into the thorium, cubicle which I made, all thorium. Thorium lies there in the open. It's there. No one can take it away from you. It's not only here, it's also here in the shallow waters of the Arabian Sea. And thorium is found in the form of monazite. What is monazite? What is everything? I'll tell you. Thorium has a connect with rare earth metals, rare earths. Incidentally, India has a stockpile of rare earths here. So, it is just not thorium, it's rare earths. But I'm not going to talk of rare earths today. I'll touch, but I'll not talk of it. Because that is a different story, but they're connected. And whatever has happened now recently will take us into that whole thing. Okay. Few days back, the DAE, the Department of Atomic Energy, gave out, and PFBR's prototype fast breeder reactor goes critical. It marks entry into the second stage of the 3-stage program, all that. Okay. And it will unlock vast potential of India's thorium reserve. So how much potential we have, we'll just get to that. Our Prime Minister also went and said, gave it a tweet like this. India takes a defining step in its new civil nuclear energy, advancing the second stage of its nuclear program. And he's spoken of the fast breeder reactor at Kalpakkam, which is a criticality. And finally, he says, look, the advanced reactor is capable of producing more fuel than it consumes. It reflects the depth of our scientific capability and the strength of our engineering enterprise. Very important. I'll highlight this as we go along. Right? It is a decisive step towards harnessing our vast thorium reserves in the third stage of the program. A proud moment for India. Congratulations. Excellent. Look, based on this, the International Energy Agency, they've congratulated and put out a tweet. In fact, everyone in the world has put out the congratulatory note. Okay? And why we'll hear these. This is a Chinese-looking lady, and this is a lady from, I think, Indian origin lady from US. Please do let me know, Sree Iyer, if you can hear or not.
India just made an important step in energy. At present, most countries use uranium to produce nuclear energy. The thing about uranium is that it's limited and it's expensive. India, however, has something special. It's called thorium, and it has huge reserves of it. Scientists at the 𝗏𝗏 Atomic Research Center and the Indian Department of Atomic Energy have been working together for years to develop this technology, the method of using thorium as an energy source. What's the big deal about using thorium as fuel? Well, it's huge. It's a big deal. Thorium is safer, it produces less harmful waste, and is abundant in India. Thorium can produce energy like uranium, but it has some obvious advantages. India's plan isn't just one reactor, it's a long-term 3-step process. It's a process to slowly switch from uranium-based to thorium-based energy. India is in stage 2 currently, and it's about to move to stage 3. If India successfully crosses stage 3, then India would be able to generate clean and reliable electricity for hundreds of years without depending heavily on imports. This could change the future of power, not just for India, but for the world.
Right, this is what she said. Let's look at this lady.
India has just taken a defining step in its civil nuclear journey. Its indigenously built prototype fast breeder reactor at Kalpakkam has reached criticality, a milestone that moves the country into the second stage of its long-planned nuclear program. Now, you don't need to understand the physics to appreciate the significance. This is about energy flexibility, the ability to power a nation without being held hostage by global shocks. And that's something Europe has been wrestling with for years. The issue has resurfaced in the crisis between America, Israel, and Iran. When tensions rose in the Strait of Hormuz, the transit point for a fifth of the world's energy supplies, oil prices jumped instantly. It was a powerful reminder that if your economy depends on someone else's stability, you inherit the blowback from their crises. Energy dependence becomes strategic vulnerability. That's why India's achievement matters. A fast breeder reactor doesn't create fuel, it converts one material into another, allowing a country to stretch limited resources and build long-term resilience. It's part of a three-stage plan that eventually leads to using thorium, a resource India has in abundance. In a world where choke points can be blocked, pipelines weaponized, and supply chains disrupted overnight, countries are starting to realize that energy security is national security. And nations that invest early, whether in nuclear, renewables, or diversified grids, are the ones that won't be forced to choose between their economy and someone else's conflict. For more analysis without the noise, subscribe to this channel.
Well, both these ladies have put across a few issues. One, thorium is safe, right? Thorium is, abundantly available in India. But let me tell you, while it is safe and it is abundantly available in India, why is it that we have not been able to do this so far? There are reasons for this, and I'll get to these reasons when I get to the science of the story, because if you don't understand the science of thorium, you'll never understand what I am about to tell you.
India
Okay. Now, I have to take you back to the time when last year I did the program. And when the PM had gone. This was in March 24. This is from his own portal, the PM's portal. When he said he witnessed the commencement of core loading at India's first indigenous fast breeder reactor at Kalpakkam. So March 24, this happened. Now it's March, April. 2 years later, it has gone critical. When I did this program that time and I mentioned a lot of things, people mocked at me. The Chinese mocked at me. Every joker mocked at me. There were a whole lot of trolls who came and said, what will India do? Nothing. In between, there was a case where, the Chinese also, running after this technology, but their approach is different. And I'll tell you why. Right? And they put up a small reactor in Gobi Desert already. And that's gone critical. Mind you, that's gone critical. I'm telling you this. So, but there are issues, right? We'll talk of that later. I'll get to the Chinese thing later. Why China has been able to do it in 2 years and we are not able to do it in all these years? We have a three-stage thing. You'll understand as I go through the science of this. Right. This is what he had said then, that he had witnessed the commencement of core loading. This is in his tweet, like he gave a tweet now. Now, we have a three-stage nuclear power program. This was not envisioned now. This was envisioned long back. Right? Long back. We were 30, 40 years back. In the stage one, it was, we were to get a pressurized heavy water reactor. Stage 2 is a fast breeder reactor. Stage 3 is a thorium reactor. It took us so long, nearly 2 decades, to get through the stage 1 and successfully. And now we have got stage 2 and stage 3 we are now getting into. Well, we'll get into I think we should get into it in about 3 years. It will take us that time. Now, there's something fundamental we should understand. The basic material which you need to carry out a nuclear reaction is uranium. It is not thorium. Thorium is not a fissile material. Thorium is converted into uranium to get energy. So ultimately, the whole story is getting to uranium. Okay, I'll get to that a little later. Now, let me first divert away, take a few, there will be a few tangents in this story. This is India's energy basket. Just see this. Our nuclear basket is just 1.4%. And this is as of 23-24. We need to increase this. And to increase this from 1.4% to wherever we want to go is a huge step, and it's not going to be easy process. For the simple reason, you need raw material. Even if you have thorium, like I said, thorium cannot be used directly, cannot be fed directly into a reactor. It can be, but for that you need something else. We'll touch on that. Okay, and you need money. And these things, by the time they go critical, it will take time. So you need time, all this. Okay. And if you see the nuclear power, who produces how much in the world is what is here. US has 97 gigawatts capacity. China, France is incidentally the next. France goes completely on nuclear almost, 63 gigawatts. China is third at 55. We are ninth at just 8 gigawatts. And we have to go high. Our scope is huge. Our scope is limited only by the amount of money you're going to invest into it and the expertise we get, the safety features we build. It'll have to be done over time, because everyone else in the world is going the uranium route and we are going the thorium route. We are the outlier. Right? The 3-stage plan is everyone mocked at us. And let me put it across. Everyone mocked at us. But it is now coming true. Eventually, it will be the best. But you need to understand what it is. Okay, so let's get to the fundamentals. Natural thorium is thorium-232. Okay. It has to be converted into uranium-233 to be used as a fuel. Like I said, everything is uranium based. All fission is only uranium. You can't, thorium is not a fissile material. But thorium for us, in fact, not only for us globally, is 3 to 4 times more abundant in nature than uranium. Thorium can generate more fissile material than it consumes. As you feed thorium, you will get more uranium. That's the beauty of this thorium cycle, right? Whether you use it in a water-cooled reactor or a molten salt reactor. Now, thorium fuel reactors are environmentally friendly. They're more environmentally friendly than uranium reactors. They are very safe. Okay. Monazite is a major source of rare earth elements and is also the primary source of thorium. We have plenty, and many people don't have it. Now, right. The second thing is, without the current demand for rare earth elements, monazite would not be mined for its thorium content alone. Extraction of thorium requires methods that are costlier than for uranium. Well, this sentence which I have said is applicable for other countries, not applicable for India. Because India, you don't have to do anything. You just go to the beach, take sand, leach it, and right, and you leach it with sodium hydroxide, and you get it out. I'll not go into the leaching process. And in the process, you'll get rare earths. And this is the connection. We already have a program for making rare earths. We already have of Indian Rare Earths Limited. We have a PSU, which is under Department of Energy, Atomic Energy, and they started, and this is going full steam. And we have some interesting rare earths with us, which gives us leverage. As we accelerate our thorium process in the next 2-3 years, you'll start getting rare earths. There's a byproduct. The other way is, when people go for rare earths, you will get thorium. Okay, so both are connected. Where thorium exists, rare earths exist. So you're looking not only at thorium, but at this. Okay, now the thing is, equally expensive about the thorium cycle are research, development, and testing of thorium-powered nuclear installations due to a lack of significant experience with thorium and uranium's historical preeminence in nuclear power. Let me explain this. You see, when people started discovering, atomic power and atomic energy, and trying to break an atom and go back to the time, they did a lot of research. Everyone did a lot of research. They knew then itself, way back in the 30s, 40s, that you can convert thorium into plutonium, uranium-233, which is fissile, and get energy. Or you use uranium-235 to 236 and you get energy. Whichever way you want it. This was there. It was known. You bombard 235 with a neutron, it converts into 236, which is inherently unstable. It breaks, all that. I'll touch on that. It was known. But why did people choose uranium? Why did they go the uranium route? Because uranium was available in Europe and USA and Russia. Thorium was not available there. And for them, the logistics of taking thorium from places like India and Kazakhstan and China also was heavy, whereas thorium was available in their mines. So thorium research took off there. And at some point of time, when they realized that thorium is the easier one to handle for many reasons, and the thorium research went ahead. Uranium research went ahead, right? Because uranium was available, people were making uranium bombs, all that, everywhere. And uranium mines were all predominantly in the West. So research took place. Thorium was not available, so people lost interest in thorium. And thorium research lagged. It was only in India that we said, yeah, we have so much thorium, why should we depend on uranium? And somewhere long back, without getting into the history and geography of it, we started investing into thorium. But then thorium has a problem. I will talk of that a little later. Okay. So you understand this, why thorium research lagged in the world. But once we took thorium as our thing, look, long term, our bet is on thorium, we do put a lot of research into it. I must tell you, the highest number of research papers published in the world are from India. And today, India is the leader in thorium research. And there's no other country which can match India in thorium research. Please understand this. People can talk anything they want, but this is where we are. Okay. Now, let me show this little thing. You see by country, which are those countries which have maximum thorium reserves? The world thorium availability is India, tops, followed by Brazil, Australia, and all. China has got hardly any. It's in Gobi Desert. Right? Brazil has in the Amazon basin up north somewhere. It's very difficult to access and get it out of there. Right? Again, USA has, where it has, I'm not very sure, but it's not accessible. The basic thing is accessibility. Right? Thorium resources. For India, it is easily accessible. Now, the thorium exists in the form of monazite. World monazite resources are about 16 million tons, and 12 million tons of which are in heavy mineral sand deposits in south and east coast of India. Thorium might exist in great quantities, but it is not extractable. Where it is available in the form of monazite, it is extractable. And that is where we think. Now, yeah, like I said earlier, thorium recovery from monazite usually involves leaching with sodium hydroxide. And it's a complex process. You get a thorium dioxide, which is also called a metal oxide fuel. Right, without getting into too much technology, this is it. But you have to understand technology. Now, way back, this, if you go into the net, you'll get this thing, Shaping the Third Stage Indian Nuclear Power Program, where in the first page itself, it is said, we have rather meager reserves of uranium. We don't have. So when you say go to nuclear power with uranium based, we don't have. For the best part, till about 10 years back, no one sold us uranium. We were, pariahs, global pariahs after that, 1974 peaceful nuclear explosion. And then slowly we have come back into the fold and all that. So, and even now we don't have uranium technology. You want reactors, you have to go abroad to buy. You can not make reactors on your own. Small modular reactors, you have to go and beg. So there are problems in the thorium thing which we never mastered. But we are on the verge of mastering thorium technology. Uranium, we have never been able to master. And we've always had problems in that. Right? Right. And like I said earlier, uranium is the only naturally occurring fissile element that can be used directly in a nuclear reactor. Okay. But we have 1/3 of the entire world's thorium, which is a fertile element, but it needs to be converted to a fissile material, that is uranium-233. Now, let me put the cart before the horse. To convert uranium to to convert thorium to uranium-233, you need neutrons. You need a fission thing. That is where do you get this from? You get it from plutonium or uranium fission. Okay. So to kickstart your thorium system, you need adequate amount of plutonium or uranium, which you have never had. Because the uranium we've had or imported, we will import most of our uranium. We have 3 requirements. Either you use it for your thorium conversion or for your strategic purposes, for your for your warheads or for energy. Okay. So we have always had this problem of not having enough uranium. In case you don't have enough uranium, you can't sustain the thorium cycle. Unless you sustain the first thorium cycle, you can't get enough uranium out. Okay. So that is the crux of this thing, but I'll take you through this. Yeah, our strategies for large-scale deployment of nuclear energy must be focused for utilization of thorium. This has been our dream, and that's coming true now. The second stage, going critical, is very important, and I'll explain to you why. Okay, in terms of resources and quantity and energy potential, with uranium, you can get about this much only. With thorium, what you can get about 3 times. Or uranium resources 1% in the world, or thorium resources the largest in the world. That's the difference when you jump into thorium. Okay. You have thorium in beaches, monazite. This is, our beaches are filled with ilmenite, monazite, and zircon. It's like this. Wherever you find this dark patches, especially in the Arabian Sea, full of it. Right. Now, what does monazite consist of? Monazite consists of 9% thorium or thorium dioxide. Second, REO. What is REO? Rare earth oxides, rare earth elements. That you have 58% of this on the sand on the beach is rare earth elements. Right? Then, of course, phosphates, 27%. And you also have 0.35% uranium. It's very difficult to concentrate it. Invariably, that uranium goes as waste. Okay. Now, what are the rare earth elements which you get out of this? You get cerium, lanthanum, and neodymium. You have it. We are getting it actually. We are getting some part of it and we are using it for our nuclear program and our space purposes. Okay. That is why our nuclear program and our space program has gone ahead without any stoppages. Understand this, because we have the basic rare earths which we need to take our whole story forward. We are not dependent on anyone else for these critical activities. Yeah, 𝗍𝗲𝗍𝗏 you have to get. Okay. Now, where is this monazite? Where is it? It's here. And this, remember, this 2.4 $11.81 is in millions of tons. You can keep digging your sands for the next 10, 100 generations. It's spread in Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal, Jharkhand, the works. We don't lack it. Okay. And people have mapped out where the veins of the monazite is thick and rich. Okay. Now, let me give you the cycle in this whole story, because understanding the cycle is important.
So go full screen, sir, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll go full screen. Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. You first have to do mining and milling. Then you have to do conversion. That is, you convert this monazite into its elements. Then you separate it out. That's a conversion. Then you do enrichment of that. Of the nuclear. I mean, the nuclear material. And mind you, this cycle is this is a nuclear fuel cycle. It's not necessary for thorium. It is applicable for uranium also. Okay. You do enrichment. When you do enrichment, you get fuel. And when you do fuel, you push it into a reactor to get energy. Then you get spent fuel, which has to be stored, and then you do waste disposal. This is a cycle. This is a broad cycle, right? Every nuclear fuel cycle goes through this. Okay. Now here's something very interesting. Look at the right. This is natural uranium. Natural uranium, which you get in Mother Earth, is 99.3 uranium-238 and 0.7% uranium-235. Okay, only this. It is available for one part of natural uranium. In the world, there are 3 parts green of natural thorium, which is 100% 232. That's the beauty. Thorium exists only as 232, stable, whereas uranium is in this form with just 0.7% as 235. Why I'm showing 235? The fissile material is this 235, uranium 235. This one, this red one here is uranium 235, and it is only 0.7%. If you want this uranium to be used in a reactor, you have to enrich. Now with this word called enrichment, and we'll connect it with Iran also. You have to enrich it. So enriching means the percentage of uranium 235 has to go up, and this uranium 238 has to come down. Okay, for that you have to enrich all this uranium to about 3% for a nuclear reactor. Now for a bomb, you have to enrich this to how much? 62. After 60%, it is weapon grade uranium. Actual weapon grade uranium is 90% plus. Depending on what, at 60 to 90, you'll get a dirty bomb. That's what Iran has. Okay, Iran has this. Okay, that is the enriching process. Thorium, on the other hand, is this. Complete thorium is available for us to carry out, fission. I'll say converted. It's fissile material. It's actually thorium 232 is not fissile material. It is fertile material. They call it fertile material. All these are fertile material. Okay, where does uranium come from? It will come from here, Kazakhstan, Russia. That's why Russia has got this thing. Canada, Australia, Namibia, Niger. Now, all these, you see, USA got all their uranium from Canada and Australia. And that is why they took off their research. China is now progressing because it's getting from Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan has got, that's why our relationship with Kazakhstan are good. We're getting uranium from Kazakhstan. Okay. And all this, of course, we are getting uranium from Kazakhstan recently. Earlier, we never used to get that also. Ukraine has. See, at the time of the Soviet Union, Ukraine, Russia, okay, and Kazakhstan were one country. So you see, nuclear technology has grown heavily in USSR. Okay, and of course, from places like Namibia, Niger, and all these Central African areas, people used to take uranium, and the Europeans used that uranium. Even now, France doesn't have any uranium. It goes from its francophone countries in Africa. That's how it is. Okay, and you see, we don't have anything in this. Okay, now let me give you a little idea about uranium, because understanding uranium is important. See, natural uranium isotopes are first uranium 238. It is the most abundant. It is hard. When you concentrate it, it is like a metal. Okay, it has a half-life of 4.5 billion years and is used to produce plutonium 239 via neutron capture. And I'll explain this. This is very interesting, and this is the route we are following, right? You add one. I'll talk of it later. Uranium 235. Like I said here, this red sliver is uranium 235. Okay, it's about 0.72 of natural uranium. It is the only fissile. Oh no, it is the only fissile isotope found in significant quantities, and it is crucial for nuclear reactors and weapons, the enrichment process and things like that. And uranium 234 exists as a decay product of 238. It's insignificant. And okay, and other than that, there are artificial isotopes of uranium 236. Now, 235, when you bombard it with a neutron, you get 236, and it is unstable. It breaks, and that's the fission. 233 again is fissionable. It is artificial. It doesn't exist naturally, and that is created when you radiate 232. Uranium 232 is a very high radioactive isotope created through controlled nuclear reactions. It's not used for anything else. It's very difficult to make uranium 232 because uranium 232 is very difficult to handle. It becomes thorium 232. Right? This atomic number from 232, 234, 235, 236, 237, 238, 239, even up to 240. These are all important. This is the entire game of nuclear technology or nuclear science. Okay, now let's understand this. What happens when you see this? I'm getting this back. Natural uranium. So natural uranium, I said this red sliver, uranium 235. This violet one is normal uranium. Okay, normal uranium, that is 238. So you take this little red sliver, which is uranium 235, imprint or bombard it with a neutron, it becomes uranium 236, becomes unstable, and it breaks into barium and krypton. It could be some others also. This is one reaction, it could be others, but it gives you 3 more neutrons, and they go and hit 3 more of this, and 3, it's a cascading effect. You get a fission reaction. That's the fission reaction which goes out in a reactor or in a bomb. When you have a lot of uranium enriched, right? When you have a lot of uranium enriched to that 90%, all uranium around those 3 will go and hit 3 more, and you have a fission which is called the chain reaction, and then everything goes. Okay, right. Making you understand this, right? Now there's another interesting thing. You look at this again. This is the fission process for the 235, which I showed it to here. This normal fission process for 235. Something else you can do with this violet thing. This whole lot of uranium 238 you have. What do you do with it? So you impregnate uranium 238 with a neutron, and you allow it to decay. It becomes plutonium 239. Now, when you take plutonium 239 and you hit a fast neutron, you bombard it, it breaks. This is the plutonium route which we have done. All our weapons are plutonium heads, not uranium heads. We've used this, okay? And fission products, same thing. Only thing is I'm not giving you what are the fission products. Something like this happens. Difference is it doesn't become uranium-238, but plutonium-239 breaks into two. And this is what we need even in our thorium cycle.
General Shankar, I have one question here.
Please.
Plutonium, if I remember correctly, the atomic number is 94. 94.
Yeah.
And uranium is 92.
Yeah. Thorium is 92. Thorium is 92. Uranium is 93.
Thorium was 90.
90. Now
90, 92, 94. Got it.
Yeah, fine. So that's okay.
I was staying on with the math till the previous slide where everything adds up correctly. Now here, what we are saying is we are hitting with fast neutrons, right? Neutron. Before that, neutron. You're hitting one neutron there, so you get 239. But how does the number change?
It
how
changes.
Does the atomic number change?
That's why it decays. It decays into that. It decays. Right? It decays into that. Look, I'm not getting into all those things because then you will confuse the hell out of. There's a decay which happens. Okay. And that decay goes through a process and then you get this thing. Okay. So I'll go back to right. Now, so this process is important. Why is this process interesting? This process is interesting because the bulk of uranium which is available naturally can be converted into plutonium and used. That's the important thing. Okay. Look, here I've written something out. I have not had the time to, but I'll explain it to you. Like I said, thorium-232 is not fissile and you can't use it directly, but it is fertile. I said this. It is fertile. So what you do is you impregnate 232, thorium-232 with a neutron and convert it into something and ultimately convert it into uranium-233, which is an excellent fissile material, and then you bombard that to get energy. That's how the whole thing goes. Okay, so the thing why I'm saying is thorium needs a driver. It needs a fissile material as a driver, and that is important. Right, now let me explain this. I got this back. This, to give you a thing back, I explained this natural thorium, 100% 232. That is why I'm connecting what I've said earlier with every slide. Okay, natural thorium. This natural 100%. They know this thing. So you start here. You take natural thorium. You take a neutron from fission, and it becomes thorium-233. Thorium-233 doesn't exist, right? Its half-life is 22 minutes. In 22 minutes, it decays into proactinium-233. And proactinium-233 in 27 days, half-life of 27 days, right, becomes uranium-233. And when you do it in a uranium-233 and then you bombard this, you'll get fission. And you'll get two. And this you can use back here. I hope you're understanding. So then for every
self-repeating
cycle. And that is where you'll hear the term molten salt reactor. What is this molten salt reactor? You allow this thorium, look, I'll put it in absolute simple terms for a normal person to understand. You put all this, it's like you're putting everything in a kadai or a pan, and you put it in salt and put this thing, and that salt melts and this reaction keeps going on and you keep getting energy out and things like that. It's called right? It keeps giving heat and that heat converts into energy and all that. That whole story and I'll show you the outline of a molten salt reactor without getting into the complexity. But understand this is more important than the engineering of that molten salt reactor. So this is what you need. Okay, so to put it in simple terms, yeah, 9 thorium 232 impregnated, it becomes thorium 233, decays into proactinium 233, and then which is again decays into uranium 233, which can be bombarded and you'll get energy out. Simple process. But the actual process is that. Okay. Now, what is a nuclear reactor all about? This is it. This is a basic nuclear reactor. What happens in a basic nuclear reactor? You have a core at the center. Okay. Control rods are the uranium which you put into this core, and you fission it with a neutron gun somewhere. I will not talk of where it is and all that. So fission starts. When fission starts, you get heat. So when the heat means this water which is circulating in this pipeline gets hot. That line is not taken directly into anything, but it's taken into another chamber in which there's hot water. This water starts evaporating and gets steam out, and this steam takes it into a steam turbine, and you get drives a generator and you get out. And then of course there's a condenser and all that, and you get cold water back, and you cool this with water from somewhere. So you need a basic water source. So you need 3 sets of exchangers and all that, and get to that. But this is a normal reactor in which you use uranium, and these rods are enriched. So if you have to enrich, you have to go through enrichment process. Okay. So what do you use for enrichment? To put it in simple term, it's like a mixie. Centrifuges. What does the centrifuge do? You put uranium into it, raw uranium, dilute it with something else. You put it in like in a mixie, and what happens is the certain things flow out. The enriched part comes out. You take that, you enrich it again, and you go through different forms, cycles of enrichment to keep pushing that percentage of uranium 235 up. When it comes to 3%, you can use it as a control rod. Okay. When it goes to 90% to uranium 235, you use it as a bomb material. Okay. So this is the nuclear reactor. Okay. Now, you will hear this term called pressurized water reactor and a pressurized heavy water reactor. Now, what you use here is a pressurized water reactor. This is a normal pressurized water reactor. There's something called a pressurized heavy water reactor. Okay, I'll not give you the construction of that, but understand the difference. In a pressurized water reactor, which is the normal reactor, you use enriched uranium, which is about 3 to 5% of 235. Which means when you use a pressurized water reactor process, you first take normal uranium, put it through centrifuges in an enrichment process, enrich it to 3 to 5%, make rods out of that, and put it into that reactor and get energy out. But what are you doing? If I go back here, yeah, you are enriching this. Now, in a pressurized heavy water reactor, you're loading this fully, this violet part, completely you're using. So that is why in a pressurized heavy water reactor, you use this. You make plutonium, bombard plutonium to get what you want. Right? Now, see, this is what is written here. Natural uranium has around 0.7% uranium-235 is used as fuel. Right? As pressurized heavy water reactors has D2O, that is heavy water, directly. You don't enrich, you use it directly. Okay, so what happens is as you start using that, you still use that 0.35%. But as you keep bombarding that natural uranium with in a pressurized heavy water reactor, you get energy out of the U-235, and the balance U-238 becomes plutonium-239, and use it elsewhere. Again, you use the second process. See, I'll take you back here. So you take uranium-238, you take this, put it in a pressurized heavy water reactor. This red part will give you normal energy the way it is, because you use heavy water. What is heavy water? It is deuterium oxide. It is a different form, right? And you bombard that.
One question, General Shankar. 1 kilo, let's say you start off uranium-238, 1 kilo. How much will you get in terms of plutonium?
Yeah, you will get about, see, again, you don't get immediately. Theoretically, you will get everything, depending on how much you bombard it here. All get converted plutonium, but it's a slow process. Okay, because it's an iterative process. That is why the control rod which you get out of a pressurized heavy water reactor is plutonium. In a pressurized heavy water reactor, the output is plutonium-239, which is fissile material.
Correct.
Okay, it takes long, right? Then that is used again back in this second stage to get this. Okay. Right. Now I'll get to the 3-stage reactor, or the 3 stages of the Indian nuclear program. This is very complicated. First stage, you use uranium-fueled pressurized heavy water reactors. Second, you use a plutonium-based fast reactor, which is what we are doing. Prototype fast breeder reactor. And the third stage is the uranium-233 fueled reactor. When you do this, you can get power. When you do this, you get power. When you do this, you will get power. The thing with the 3-stage program which we do, at every stage, you keep getting power. Okay. Now, this is very confusing. You can't understand it. So, I'll take you stage by stage. Now, let's look at the first stage. Okay. This is the first stage. This is the pressurized heavy water reactor. So, what do you do in this? You take this natural uranium. Now, get back to that thing which I showed you first, which has 99% uranium-238 and 0.7% uranium-235. Okay, you load it into the pressurized heavy water reactor, which I showed you. What happens? You will get energy, but something else happens in this. You do this process. Okay, you do this process. Due to this process of this red one, which is uranium-235 fission, you will get energy. That's the first stage in this. This is this connected. But something else happens. You get depleted uranium and plutonium. Now, what is depleted uranium? In this, when this red portion is taken out, which is uranium-235, this is called depleted uranium. I hope you understand, because it is depleted of uranium-235. You get uranium-238. Now, depleted uranium is a very hard substance. They use it for anti-tank projectiles. So hard it is. Okay, it's got other problems. We don't allow it in India. Okay, but since it is in the pressurized heavy water reactor, and some part of this 238 has reacted, right? This uranium-238 has been impregnated with neutrons, and a certain amount of decay has taken place. You get plutonium also. I hope everyone is clear. So in a pressurized heavy water reactor, to recap, you load uranium-230, normal uranium, natural uranium. It comes in cake form, and you put it in the rods and you load it. From the uranium-235 through this process, normal process, you get energy. In this process, because you're using a pressurized heavy water you are using heavy water, you get depleted uranium and plutonium. And this we have mastered long back. In fact, this was the story we did to get plutonium for our bomb. 1974. We used the plutonium-239 route. Now let's get to so this is the first stage. Okay, let me make it full. This is the first stage. Now let's talk of the second stage. Again, I'll explain it to you. Now what happens in this? Very interesting. You take the depleted uranium and the plutonium. Okay, this is called MOX fuel. You'll hear this term MOX. What is MOX? Mixed oxide fuel. And you load it into the fast breeder reactor or the PFBR, prototype fast breeder reactor, and you get energy. Now, when you do that, what are you doing? You are doing this. When you bombard it with neutrons, you are bombarding the depleted uranium, which is here 238. You are also bombarding plutonium. Both are happening together in this FBR, and you get fission. That's the energy which you get out. So far so good. Now here's the trick. But what happens is you will still get plutonium out. This plutonium, you get it out, you shove it back in. Not all plutonium gets expended, so you shove it back in. So you start recycling this. What plutonium is there in the depleted uranium, you start shoving back in. You separate and shove it back. So there's a cycle, and this cycle has gone critical for us. That is what has happened now. Okay. Now something else happens. Now a little while later, what you do is, now here's the fun. Now this fast breeder reactor, right? This is the fast breeder reactor. You put a thorium blanket on this. You put a thorium blanket and thorium-232 blanket. You blanket this fast breeder reactor. So what happens is, when you do this cycle, this thorium blanket also starts capturing neutrons. Because not all neutrons will hit everything. Some neutrons will go out. Now you put a blanket around that thorium will start getting impregnated with thorium-232. Or the thorium-232 gets impregnated and becomes thorium-233. Or actually what you get out of it is uranium-233. Now here is this story. I'm not sure, because if it's gone critical, my guess is that it is only this part which has gone critical. They were to put the thorium blanket. I'm sure by now all that process will start, and we will start generating uranium-233. Okay, this second stage is the most critical stage, to convert 232 into 233. This is a completely different method of doing it, which others have not tried. But this is time consuming. But once the second stage is done, the second stage is the most critical stage. You will have adequate uranium available with you, and this cycle will continue. Okay. And of course, when you reach to the third stage, you will keep having, it will be an endless cycle. What is the third stage? So in third stage, see this. You have this uranium-233 doesn't exist in free air. You get it out separately. It exists in this thorium-232 blanket. This blanket will have uranium-233 impregnated. Just think of a blanket which is caked with mud. You put a blanket or a bed sheet on the ground. What happens? It takes up some mud, and you have patches in wet ground and all that. And you take that and cover it somewhere else. So that blanket has uranium-233. That blanket you put into the third with something called the molten salt reactor. So this combination, 233 and thorium-232, right, you put into the molten salt reactor. And then you go through this process. Okay? You go through this process, you will get energy. And the output you get is uranium-233. You now start looping it. This is an endless cycle. Now you are halfway into the fast breeder reactor, second stage. So I go back. You are halfway in this. You are here. You have to do this and then go to this. Okay. Once you go into this, you are on your way. Now, this is a molten salt reactor. I'll not again go into this because this will become too complicated for all of us. But remember, unlike a normal reactor which I showed, this has got a two-stage condensation, coolant and all that, because that molten salt is difficult to handle. Otherwise, the construction is the same. Right. But when you're looking at a molten salt reactor, you need new technologies. We still have not got hold of them fully. You need the lithium enrichment, salt preparation, purification, characterization, chemistry, all that. I'm sure they will do. I think they're going as per a plan. Yeah, please, sir. You had a question? Yeah, I can't hear you.
I just wanted your permission to log off, sir.
Yeah, please carry on. Yeah, please carry
viewers,
on.
we had one. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, your final thoughts before you log off. Yeah, on what.
So viewers, I had done a bird's eye view of this. I think a 14-minute presentation where I had done much of the stuff except the third phase, which General Shankar is explaining here. It's important to understand the takeaway here is that once you have this cycle completely working, going critical, as they say, what happens is you don't need to source anything from outside. You are creating your own source. And this is, in theory, it should go forever. Perpetual machine, energy machine. So, wonderful, sir. Viewers, please share this thing to people because you need to understand. And you know, there are other people that I've brought on channel, General Shankar, like Mohan Sonti, who had predicted that the only energy for the future that is sustainable for hundreds of years with very little energy expended is nuclear based power, which is safe. So India would be suddenly at the cutting edge of all this once the phase 3 starts becoming a reality. Thank you once again, sir, and I'll see you soon. Namaskar.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Right. So fine. Right. As he exits, and right, we'll go ahead. What happens? What's the reality? What's a reality check on where we are? I will explain to you 3 stages and all that. The first stage, we started indigenous development of our nuclear power plants based on the uranium cycle in the pressurized heavy water reactors. We have 18 of them today in operation and 10 more are in the pipeline. We have complete self-sufficiency in pressurized heavy water reactor technology. What we don't have enough is uranium. We are stuck for uranium, basically. Second stage, we've started the fast breeder reactor program. We have developed everything. We have gained experience. Now it has gone critical. I'm sure they'll put the thorium blanket into it any day now. Maybe it's already there. I don't know. They've not said that. And we'll start getting the thorium blanket with uranium-233 and thorium-232. You will start getting it sooner than later, right? And we will also have depleted uranium. All that is fine. The third stage will start when we have adequate uranium-233. So we'll have the collection of 233 in some form. My guess is this thorium blanket will be allowed to stay till such time you accumulate it into uranium-233. That's going to take time. Okay. But what is something which is very important is we already have experience over the entire thorium cycle. Entire. There's a reactor called 𝗏𝗏𝗏. It's an experimental reactor. What is 𝗏𝗏𝗏? Kalpakkam mini reactor. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is Kalpakkam mini reactor. We already have it, where we use uranium-233 as the fuel, and it has been in operation for over a decade. Okay, So now the molten salt reactor will be a bigger scale model than this. So we have the technology, almost certain technologies we have to master. And I think we are very sure, and people are working on it to get to where we have to get to. So I'm very sure of it. I'm very confident of it. Yeah. What is this Kalpakkam mini reactor? Kamini, 30 kilowatt, 233 uranium fuel, light water cooled and moderated and all that. It's a research reactor which is there in Kalpakkam. It's working. Okay. I just thought I'll put all this. We also devised the advanced heavy water reactor for utilizing thorium. Okay. Advanced heavy water reactor is something different from a molten salt reactor. So we are okay. We are in a pretty good stage. It's a matter of time. Okay. Now you want to speed it up? You can. So you have to buy plutonium because you need plutonium, no, in the second stage to make it into uranium 233. Or you enhance plutonium manufacture. That's what we are doing. So it's a cycle which will take time. Second stage going critical is important. It will take anything up to about 3 to 5 years from now to start the molten salt reactor. That's my guess. And then once you get the first molten salt reactor, that goes critical, and that cycle, and you start scooping enough uranium from that, right? And then you can increase the second, third, and take it to where you want. By then you'll be clear of the technology involved and all that. There's a lot of work. I will not get into it. This will take another 10 years for us to stabilize. In the meanwhile, there are huge lot of companies which have worked hard and acquired the engineering expertise like Kirloskar, MTAR, Walchand Industries, Bell, L&T. So our industry is also catching up in these specialized technologies. Okay. Okay. I'll not go further on this, because the next thing is about fusion. I'm not going to talk of it. So I thought I'll put all these along to all of you, right? Let me keep that at the background, and then I'll take some questions. Molten salt reactor, so this 3-stage thing. I know it's complicated. What I've told all of you is complicated. Many of it would have gone overhead for you. Okay. Like he said, I am unable to understand anything. I suppose it's way above my head. I agree with you, but this is science. I could have spoken naturally in English and gone. But I think it's important you understand this process, where India is, what is the thing. What I've explained to you is from what I've learned and what I've understood, might not be the best solution. If you get a nuclear scientist, he'll give you a better thing and all that. But, well, I thought I'll convert it into as simple language as possible and put it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Vasu Iyengar, after a long time, you're back. Thanks for the detailed explanation. It all makes sense now. Yeah, the whole idea is to put the sense part of it. As far as I am able to put the sense part of it, and you get the feeling that we are on the right track, we are okay. Okay. Now, yeah, I did mention what China is doing. I should tell you, isn't it? You'll see this somewhere or the other. Let me show. Yeah, China, has come out with a lot of things. China, for 2 years back, came out and said we are doing a thorium reactor. They've established a thorium reactor, but they're not going through this 3-stage process. They're directly converting because they have uranium. They've got uranium from Kazakhstan and other places. After all, they've expanded their reactors and they're getting enough. And so if you have enough plutonium, you can start. Or if you have enough uranium, you can convert into plutonium and use it into a molten salt reactor directly. That you can do. China has gone that route. We don't have that. Okay, we don't have that. So we have gone through the 3-stage. But the 3-stage is more sure. Why? Because it will be a never-ending cycle for us. And you have an adequate thorium which you can keep feeding in. Others don't have that luxury, right? I'll not talk more. So the difference is they don't have different stages, whereas we have different stages. Okay. Yeah. So Vasu, thanks a lot. Yeah. Thanks a lot for your becoming a YouTube member, and then yeah, Bhaskar, thanks a lot. No question today, but thanks a lot, General Shankar and Sree Iyer ji. Learned a lot. Thank you. And thanks a lot for your super sticker, Ravin. So grateful. Okay. Let me take a few more questions after, because, yeah, Vivek has read a lot, and, thanks a lot for your thing. What you said, liquid fluoride, thorium reactors, and all that. I'm not getting involved, because if I start talking of that, it'll go over everyone's head, then you'll lose interest in it. But I see that you are quite knowledgeable about all this. Okay. But it takes time. Yeah. Leverage thorium's abundance for long-term sustainable. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Eventually, we already will have, by the time the 3rd stage comes into play, we will have 28 pressurized heavy water reactors, from where you will get adequate, plutonium out, and then you start feeding them into the thorium cycle, and the thorium will start getting produced. So we will have, right? It's a slow process. It's not going to be in a hurry. No one can do it in a hurry, right? And there's no new technology. It's an old technology. It's only that people didn't take it forward. We are taking it forward because we see value in it. Others don't see value in it, so they're not taking it forward. Understand that. No one can give you this, will give you this technology. Most researchers outside in the world have given up on this technology, and people have lost it also. Okay. Sir, I helped bring Diablo Cannon Units 1 and 2 to full production. Oh, that's great. Congratulations. Look, for you, people like you, what I've said, it must be absolutely nascent and, basic. But I've tried to put it in as simple words for us as possible. Okay. Yeah. Was the tsunami of Boxing Day created to hurt? No. All this. Nothing like that. I graduated from IIT with a mechanical engine degree and 2 MS degrees in industrial and nuclear engineering in the USA, with a focus on nuclear safety. I have 7 years in the industry. Good. Well done. Do well. Okay, wherever you are. Yeah, Jai Baisakhi to all of you, and Happy New Year. I completely with everyone. Okay, who else has got a question? Yeah, this is not planned in last year or 2-3 years before. I think this fast breeder reactor program, and then mixed thorium EAO. This is not now, it's been long back. I wouldn't say 2000s and yeah, early. It's about 30. In fact, it was the last century. I've been hearing of this 3-stage process when I was a student. Okay, when I first went to BARC, I heard about this. And when did I first go to BARC? 83. 83, I heard about this. But in 83, it was a faraway dream. Okay, we had spent some time in BARC when I was a student in long country staff course. They explained it to us then. In fact, we spent 2 days or 3 days, I don't remember. But that's the first time I heard of this 3-stage reactor. At that time, we didn't have anything. Today, we are in the 2nd stage. I might not see this 3rd stage in my life, but many of you will. That's the thing. Yeah, waiting for your explanation on this for a week. I hope, Ram Prasad, that I explained everything to the best of my thing, so that you have understood it. I've tried to put it in as simple terms as possible. Okay. Fusion process of a nuclear reactor, a cold, safe, wasteless processing, a simple isotype of water. Yeah, that is, we have not yet gone there, as it. Basically, what are space uh, scientists doing? Is your fuel cells there? Water. You split water into hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen is the fuel, oxygen is the oxidizer. You put it back, you get energy. That's why people are going to moon. Why are people going to the south side of moon? Why did Artemis 2 go around and went closest to the moon and all that? Water. If you get water, you get energy. If you get energy, you can do mining there, space mining. That's the thing. Okay. Any other question? What about Iranian toilet? मारो यार, छोड़ो थोड़ी देर के लिए, वो कल बात करेंगे ना उसके. Can this process of thorium to uranium be used for making atom bomb? No, you can't. Uranium 233 you can't use. That's another reason why people didn't follow this thorium route. The thorium doesn't take you to a fission system which is high fissionable. See, that's why I said there's like a pan in which everything you keep rotating. Halwa banta hai na, halwa. It is like a halwai machine. So you put that sodium salt into it, and then you put thorium into it, and you keep doing, and you put some tadka into it, and something will keep coming out. You keep taking it and putting it back. This doesn't go to that kind of a thing. Yeah. Yeah, atomic number changes by 1 neutron. I agree with you. One Tuticorin company mined a lot of this material and sent it to North Korea and China, and this company was running a TV channel. I've not heard of it. But this is part of the deal. In this, everything will happen. Heartening to see Bharat is well on its way to achieve nuclear energy security. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you. Yeah, we need a molten salt reactor. Yes, I agree with you. You put this beforehand. I think, yeah. Does India have a thorium molten salt reactor? Kamini. We have it. We've been having it for a long time. Only thing is, it's a small one. Yeah. Long back, we knew the potential of thorium. Still, we exported it. We didn't export at all. We exported very little. No one wants thorium because it's a very complicated process. For scientific things, we have given some thorium mode. That's all. Yeah, India has achieved 150 gigawatts of solar. I've said this. In the morning. No, I explained this. What you're saying, I agree with you. Look, India is going to change at pace. Okay. Yeah, natural occurring thorium and uranium are not fissile at all. I agree with you. Completely agree with you, 𝗏𝗏𝗍. Yeah, my job is to educate because I can't take this knowledge back up when I go there. I have to leave it on ground. Yeah, The whole world talks about fast breeder reactor having attained criticality, Kalpakkam being the center with such a big achievement. No Tamil channels talk of this. What a small mind. That is up to, I can't stop that. Thorium has isotopes. Yeah, I agree with you. They have isotopes, but they're unstable. Yeah, your request fulfilled, so you keep coming back and saying, yeah. Look, sir, I could have spoken of this. The fast breeder reactor is one of double whammy. We have the technology and the availability of thorium. Yes, I agree with you. I have. Okay, I think we have generally. How much thorium-based nuclear power plant required to supply electricity across each and every corner? Yeah, Sanjay Gupta, wo nahi hoga. Even if you do maximum thing, you can't exceed 15% nuclear power. The pie chart, you today have about 2% is nuclear, 1.5% is nuclear power. Ultimately, the whole idea is to go to 15% nuclear power. It will take another 30 years. But let it take. So what's the hurry? You have it, it's not going anywhere. Your requirements also will go up. That's also there. Okay, I think I've done for the day. I'm grateful to those of you who attended. It's a little boring, but for those of you who are interested in understanding, it is fascinating. Our country has done hugely good in going where we are, and I think from here things will only get better. Right? I'll keep coming back on such technology issues. I also have to explain to all of you about what India's status in this war and how are we emerging. How did we go into this war and how are we emerging out of this war? This war is about to finish. It will finish, I'm sure. I see some light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. So we'll see how it goes. One of these days, like this, when I have to do a solo, I'll talk about India. Can we gain any new energy due to latest achievement in the next 5 years or so? No, solar. Solar is the way out. That we have to go full blast ahead, and this. And the next way is increasing your refining capacity. If you increase your refining capacity, people will always come to you with crude. You make money out of it and you will never be short of it. That's the only way. There's no other choice. And that is why if you see our coal reserves, we're burning quite a lot. Okay. And till such time, I think by the time our coal reserves start depleting, your solar and nuclear will catch up. Right? Renewables are the way forward. There's no doubt about it. And at some point of time, people have to go to space to get it. Space-based energy is the next. You see, that is why our trip to Mars, Mangalyaan and Chandrayaan are important. Which are the countries which have gone to which have done this lunar and Mars exploration? Only 4. USA, China. China has done Mars recently. We went 10 years back. Our rover, Mars rover, is still there, Mangalyaan. It's finished its life, but working. Russia and India. And as per many, as what many people say, and I go with them, right? I go with them, is that anyone who can go to Mars, who can go to the moon, is a superpower. We are already in that bracket. We are a superpower in that respect. Because if you get helium, okay, you get helium from there, and you get deuterium from there. Deuterium is heavy hydrogen. That's what is used for your nuclear power plants. And you do fusion. And incidentally, fusion has been done on Earth in Livermore lab in California twice. Even China is at it. This ITER, International Thermonuclear Energy Reactor, in which we are part. Some experiments are done here, some are done in China. It's all over. It's also a nuclear fusion exercise. Because if you can do fusion on Earth, you need helium. It's not available. You can use helium for superconducting or nothing. But if you get helium, I believe helium is available in Mars. So you get helium from Mars. Why people are going to Mars? To get helium from there. So you get helium, you do fusion on Earth. Also get helium for superconducting, quantum. Maybe one of these days we'll talk of that. I'll take you there. This is something which I keep doing. This is part of my own education. I find it interesting. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Vikas, for your super sticker. And also thanks a lot, Sanjay, for becoming a YouTube member. Thanks a lot. Honored. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll meet tomorrow morning. Day 46. What's happening? We'll see. Where is this blockade going, not going? There'll be some chaos, but some out of chaos, some order will also come. So we'll see then till tomorrow. Have a great day. Jai Hind to all of you.